some time to kill. So, um, talk about the rise of men in dresses. I got another video. Somebody requested for me to talk about do a video on the New Orleans red. They have like a red dress run. I did a video. I did a short on it. You can see it in the YouTube shorts on TikTok. And so it's, I guess it's a charity event where people wear red dresses in New Orleans, and the guys had a red dress on, and the girl on TikTok was saying, "You know nothing about New Orleans. This is, I guess, a charity thing," and she's defending it. I remember I made another video on the Free Game 89 channel. Hit the link in the description. Hit the link tree. It's the first link. It'll show you where how to get there and join the Patreon. I'll be updating it pretty soon. I did update it. I'll update Goodfellas TV. I'm gonna do the film study. It's just hard for me to do the film study because if I upload it on YouTube, you know how it goes. They gonna copyright it, so I gotta find a way to upload it directly to the Patreon so y'all can watch it. But you know, or I'm gonna have to chop it up in parts. But I don't think it should be that extensive. But you know, I did a video of a guy wearing a bonnet, and you know, the guy was like, "Oh, Lord forbid on TikTok a man want to protect his hair." And the line of masculinity is pretty much gone because I always tell y'all the women push the culture. Um, Guys do things to get women. I mean, you know, wars was fought over women. Look how powerful Cleopatra was, and you know, lifetime relationships are dissolved over women. And it's definitely, you know, when you became of age of attraction to women, just like really getting into them, you know, you start doing things for the girl. You know, you start wearing certain clothes, you know, jewelry, whatever it was. You know, a lot of guys' identity was pretty much at one point how to get women. You know, we thought the women were so sacred and so untouchable, and like they didn't think like we thought, and we had no idea that they were just that they were more perverted than we were. And that's true when you're younger because they mature faster than us, and I truly believe that because you think about it, their physical prime. That's why in a lot of countries you see them getting married at 14, 15, 16. When you start seeing teen, that's their prime. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and you know, some people believe from that point to 25. Some people say anything under 30. Some people say 26, 27, but you catch my drift. So we do things to get them, but in their prime, they're already like ahead of us. You know, they're already ahead of us. They already, most women have sexual interaction or intercourse before boys do. You know what I'm saying? And you know, people want to get into the grape soda numbers and stuff, and that's cool. I mean, I don't think it's cool, but I get it. But for the most part, most women put themselves in positions, you know, to most people put themselves in positions to be in that position. You know what I'm saying? And some guys are just straight. Some of those guys, well, all those guys that deal with women like that, that's older, they're predators. I mean, I think we all can agree with that. If you're a grown man and you going after 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, you know, depending on the age gap, if he 18, 19, 20, I get it. 17, 18, 16, I understand that. Start talking about 25 and she 15, 16, 17, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, you know, but you catch myself 30, but they start their hormones start really kicking in pretty fast. So for them, they start wanting it. And I think the biggest mistake of younger guys, which it may not be a mistake, we don't think they want it as bad as we do when we that young, right? Only if they are aggressive with us. You know, and a lot of women are aggressive. They grab your balls and franks, beans and franks, whatever. And we, you know, we won't know until you know until we start experiencing it. But when we're young, we don't think that's what they think about. We still think they live in makeup, la la land. But older guys understand that those hormones are raging. They understand that those in their opinion, those women are right for the picking. But for the most part, what I'm trying to say is that we started to do things as men to get women's attention, whether it's dress, wear a backpack a certain way, wear certain shoes, act a certain way, play a sports, because we know the women like the jocks and stuff of that nature. So basically, how I'm trying to start this video off is just saying, if guys wearing dresses and wearing, or just in general feminine wear, if they're wearing it and they're claiming being heterosexual, or if they claim being bisexual, that lets you know that they're still getting attention from women. Regardless, that lets them know that they're still getting attention from women. So women like that type of stuff. That's why you see it's such a surplus of men in a soft girl era. That's why you see it's a surplus of men that wear dresses, that wear feminine clothes. When you go to the club, you ain't gonna see nobody masculine no more. They got they wearing motherfucker halter tops, and let's not discredit the Boondocks, because they predicted this. I see guy on Love Island was wearing pearls. I see guys wearing pearls. I see guys literally wearing choker necklaces. It was a guy that said he used to be an artist on G Unit. I forget his name, Red Run or something like that. I don't know his name. He literally had a necklace on that was damn near a iced out choker. You know what I'm saying? They wearing Van Keith female bracelets now. You know, and then I just the part two of the video or the part two, I'm gonna talk about the guys that I did the video on today wearing the skirts. They selling those skirts. They selling those skirts in Atlanta. Don't forget, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago of that, we had the men that was wearing the Victoria's Pink Secret attire and stuff. So the stuff for the girls. You know, now these guys walking around and they jeans is tighter than the woman's jeans. I mean, I just feel it's a little feminine for a guy to get a thigh tattoo. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. Like, I seen Dwayne Wade wearing an ankle bracelet. Why, as a man, do you need an ankle bracelet? What's next? Y'all gonna start wearing toe rings? That's what you gotta ask yourself. But if the girls wasn't feeling it, the guys would switch it up. And even if you would be like, well, maybe they're trying to, attract guys. But if all these dudes are playing like they not gay, you know what I'm saying, and trying to play like it's straight, it'd be easy to tell guys that are heterosexual and that are homosexual. It'd be easier to tell. So if you're strictly homosexual, you're not trying to blend in with the heterosexual guys. You kind of get what I'm saying? So when you blend it, they trying to blend in and blend everything, that gives the female a well, I don't know if he was heterosexual, I don't know if he was homosexual. So they're still trying to blend in. The whole emasculation through the culture of hip hop and through rap music is very, very telling. There's a debate where people say, is it, should men wear dresses in Hollywood when they're acting? White people don't care that Robin Williams put on the dress because it's comedy. Some people don't care that Martin Lawrence put on the dress. They feel like, oh, it's comedy. He's just acting to put on a dress. Some people might not care that Tyler Perry was Medea and put on the dress. People might just consider he being the actors. And when you dig deeper into acting, you notice you go on a lot of those Broadway plays or Disney on Ice plays. Sometimes Peter Pan is played by a woman. Sometimes Captain Hook was played by a woman, believe it or not. Sometimes, Prince, Aladdin could have been played by a woman. You have some situations where some men are playing female characters. In some of these Broadway shows and Disney on Ice, every gender, like, it was acting. So I get what people saying, okay, he's just acting, put on the dress, or he's just acting on Broadway. I understand that part of it. I get it. Do I agree with it? I mean, that's another discussion for another day. But think about it. If they dress the way that homosexual guys were dressing, there would be no confusion. on what side of the gun line was you on. Right now, you got, people, women claim to be confused, but I don't really think it's a confusion thing. You got guys now that's wearing like multiple nose piercing, not like the punk rock nose piercing. I mean, they wearing septum rings. You know how they wear the Christmas ornament from the nostrils now with the dangling thing. You got guys, wearing dangling earrings and stuff. Like, you got men wearing bonnets. It's so many different things you can put on your head. A do rag, a stocking cap, what's the little habab or habaji thing they wearing now? They're like a do rag but it wrap on top of your head. It's so many different things. And I understand, let's just say you wore a bonnet to go to bed. For whatever reason, hey, that's going to bed. It's even, I feel like it's ghetto for a woman to wear a bonnet in public. Like if you run into the grocery store or run into the liquor store to the gas station real quick, or you just transporting between, that's cool. But if you out in public and you really doing some grocery shopping, or you shopping for a car, or you at the airport with a bonnet on, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just in general. Just in general. Like, come on, man. You ghetto, man. Like, come on, man. I remember we used to be at the bus stop. My mom used to drive me at the bus stop. It'd be certain parents that come up to the bus stop and and the moms used to be in a bathrobe. They used to drive up to the bus stop or walk up to the bus stop with a bathrobe on. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. But now the women claim that they can't, for the most part, what they saying is they can't tell if, who was DL and who was not. My thing is, if a guy wearing a dress, if he wearing a bonnet, and then there's mannerisms with these dudes, bro. Like, they even have a twang to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have a masculine frame. They don't have I can't even say a masculine, like, demeanor. Like, they really have like a sugar in the tank demeanor. Like, when you watch them walk, when they mannerisms and then some of these guys were even like how gay guys are turning on and turning off. Like, if gay guys is around a bunch of women, but if they around some guys, they're yeah. But if they're around the women, yeah, you can even tell you can tell, you can tell. You can tell. Same thing with a woman that claimed to be a stud. Yeah, around another woman, she gonna be, yeah, yeah, Keisha. But once you step to her and you step to her like a man, like, she naturally turns more into a female. When a woman is around a masculine presence, no matter how far you think she gone, that feminine is gonna is showing that woman, even if it show a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, but when we even, and like I said, in men, even with men, even though them dudes that's on that side, they be all feminine. But if it came time to protect themselves, oh yeah, nigga, let's square up. That's what they turning into. That's what they turning into. So, with these, with the whole thing, now women are saying like, oh, I didn't know he was DL. Now that's a huge thing going on right now. If you go on like Facebook, all the women 30 and up, that's the thing. My thing is this, right? If you ever if you ever had to play with that man back door, there's a high chance that he walking on the rainbow path. Why do we act strange? You hear women say, "Well, he let me put his legs up." Like, bro, like we're why are we having a discussion about this? If you ever inserted something into the guy, why are we having the discussion like this? I just posted a video. Check out my Instagram story or Facebook story, right? I just did a video, and I'm gonna talk about this. Might do a short end video on Free Game 89. The link's in the description. FR33 Game 89. And I'm gonna talk about this, right? I might go for the trifecta: the short, the video, and the Patreon version. So there was a panel of three women and I think one guy, and basically one of the women on there, one of the black women on there said, it's different when a man has been with a man one time versus 5 times. And the guy was flabbergasted. See, that's what I tell y'all when you talk about girl math. When you talk about the spread of diseases going out right now, bruh, that's how they think. They don't think, oh, I inserted something into this man. That's just something that he like to do with me. You think he wouldn't insert something with a dude? You out your mind. That's where they try to play like that's where a lot of women try to play. Oh, I didn't know. You know, that's the women's favorite thing to say. You can tell a woman all day, hey, if you do this, you do that, this was gonna happen. So you gotta be careful. How many times you probably, warned your sister or warned your female friend or your female cousin about a particular dude, and you told her. I don't know if y'all remember, it was an episode on Family Matters, and Urkel warned Laura about a guy, and the guy was basically said he got to like second or third base with Laura. Like, matter of fact, he said he made the home run. He had slept with Laura, and Laura didn't believe Steve, and Steve was like, "You always hate." Laura was like, "You always hating on the guys I'm with," and she cut Steve out. And then finally, the word got back to Laura that he was saying that he smacked out, and Eddie had to step to him. But even before she started dealing with the guy, Urkel tried to warn her. She didn't want to listen to him. That's a example of protection. Protection is not always in the physical. If I warn my girl, like, look here, you go to that spot, today after, at this point, if something bad gonna happen, or this, that, and the third gonna happen, and she going something bad gonna happen, she might be like, I called you to come get me. No, I told you. I provided you the information of protection before you went. You didn't take it. So no, I'm not about to pull up and put my life on the line when I already gave you a warning. They don't look at that as protection. They don't look at, hey, I'm about to go buy a BMW, for 60 grand, and my credit score is this, that, and the third. You like, look here, why don't you just work on your credit, either get something cheaper, pay it off faster, or let's just work on the credit real quick, shoot the credit up so you won't pay 25, you might pay 10 or 8% interest on this car. You explain what's the difference between paying 25 or 20% interest to 10% or 8% interest. They don't want to listen. They paying for the car, an extra 2-3 years because they didn't listen to you and take 10 minutes just to show them to fix their credit or something like that, or do the alternative. And you try to warn them, and she, I can't pay my car note. I'm tired of paying on this car and this, that, and thing. I warned you about. I warned you. I gave. That is a form of protection. If a guy put on a dress, he's telling you he'll go. He's gonna go to. He can probably play both sides, because at the end of the day, it's this whole like thing where women are saying, "Oh, I didn't know studs got down with guys." Like, every guy in here know that. Every guy in here know that a stud, if you really came onto a stud that way, and they gonna blame it on alcohol, liquor, the vibe. They women. Most studs are women that were not pretty enough to get the guy they want, so they turn to be a stud, but they still desire a man. Most studs on the low, it's getting popped off on the low. We know that. We already know that. That ain't nothing new. Like, they trying to make this shit new shit. It's not new. We all know that if you put a little bit of Riz on the stud, she gonna turn. And she gonna be, don't tell nobody, keep it a secret. Okay, we know it. So if a guy's wearing a dress, he's already telling you. If a guy's wearing feminine clothes, pearls, ankle bracelet, bonnets, he got all these earrings in his nose. You know what I'm saying? He's telling you right then and there. If he allows you to play with his back door, he's telling you who he is. So and you got the woman saying, I didn't know. It's different if he slept with one guy versus 5 guys. No, this ain't 5 guys and fries. This ain't you sleep with one guy and we let it fly. As an adult, that is who you are. Once you make that decision as an adult, that is who you are. Once as a man, you get known, as like that. It ain't no going back. We understand that double standard. Women, they can go back and forth, like Aaliyah, front, back, and they can go back and forth. But as a man, no, you can't go back and forth. In a woman's mind, they want you to be their girlfriend. They want you to be this masculine hero. They want you to have all this money. They want you to be everything. But to be honest, they really like to. Any woman that's able to get you in a compromising position to be able to play with your back door, that lets you know something, bruh. And then they'll fall out with each other on Facebook and shit and say, I got the video, and they'll try to expose the guy. But that says a lot about you as a woman and the type of guys that you're dealing with. Because these women, it's the society, it's like the mouse utopia. They want the women to be the men so they can kill off the human race and they can control the population. That's exactly what they doing. So don't let women fool you when you start talking about the houses in Virginia race, the STI, STD race. Bro, you see these situations where these women, they get drunk and they smoke and they all they got is their homegirls to deal with on them girls trip. How many women we heard talk when we talk about those girls trip where the women sleep with each other? On a lot of those girls trips, they taking give me a minute. 1 second, y'all. Yeah, they taking their gay homeboys with them and shit, and I'm trying to hide, but they taking their gay homeboys with them and they sleeping with them. They sleeping with them on them little girls trips, or they all be together and stuff of that nature, and they spreading these diseases to guys and shit. I'm telling you, bro. When they get drinking and they have them little hotel girls parties and all that type of shit, and it may be all girls and they might throw a gay boy in there, they sleeping with him, bro. He popping all of them off, and they blame the alcohol. They act like it didn't happen. That's how all this shit really getting spreaded. Real talk. That's how it's really getting spreaded, bro. So when she made that comment, yeah, yeah, my bad. But yeah, but yeah, for the most part, where I was at. But yeah, they be doing that shit, man. And a lot of these women try to play the role like they don't, but let them talk. Because what is the difference between a guy being with five guys and one guy? It's all the same. That let you know. That let you know if he penetrating or he pitching or he catching, and they still sleeping with him. They still sleep with these guys. Don't forget that one dude that be with them city girls. He got one of the girls pregnant. Yeah. Run this motherfucker. the office. But yeah, man. But yeah. So, but yeah, they be knowing, bro. Like, guy put a dress on outside if it's acting, or if a guy uh wearing all these feminine clothes, especially if he's from Atlanta. And it was disheartening to see those young brothers not only wearing dresses. I posted the other part on my story on Instagram and Facebook that they were selling the dresses. I'll talk about that tomorrow when I get a chance. And I pair that with the request for about the I pair that with the request. I swear to God, I'm so glad I hold on real quick. Hopefully this shit done live. Damn, this shit live. But yeah, I was gonna pair it with the guy in New Orleans wearing the dress. They had the red dress charity walk or whatever. So I'm gonna pair those videos. But they were selling the dresses in Atlanta, and or the skirts, excuse me. Um, but these women, they're sleeping with those guys, and then what they telling you is they're blaming every other guy for why they end up with that. And like I said before, 50% of Black American women have the herp. 50% of Black American women have it. 48, I think, 0.8%. Now, what they would tell you when you bring it up, oh, guys don't get tested, is why guys, rates are so low. That's not true. You can't look here how painful that is. How painful that is. You have to go to the hospital, even if you ain't got insurance, and you have to go to the hospital. So that's not one of those situations where you can just ignore it and you can bear the pain. So what that tells you when you start looking at those numbers, what it tells you is that it's really true. Like how reckless a lot of those Black women are, how sexually liberated they are, and I believe it's like they're almost like double. They right on par with the men that bat on both sides of the plate or on the rainbow. I think they rate is more than double and triple than Becky's. And it's damn near more than double, if not more than double, and don't quote me on this, more than double than the Black men. So basically what that's telling you is that compared to everybody else, and it's way more than Latino women, what more than way everybody else, they're reckless, bro. They're very, very reckless. They're very free spirited, free will. They don't care if you got dookie dong. They are literally sleeping with any and everybody. But for the most part, they still sleep with a certain percent of straight men. They sleep with 20% of all the same guys. And I believe that's a shrinking number. 80% of women sleep with 20% of guys. So if women was like, you know what, we only gonna mess with masculine guys. We only gonna mess with guys that carry themselves like men. You know how many dudes wouldn't put another dress, anything feminine on. They push the culture, bro. They push the culture. So the guys that sleep with the guys they sleep with, why you think guys getting so feminine? The moms and grandmothers of this generation have created a femininity, a soft guy era. They know how to sew before they know how to change a tire. You know what I'm saying? They know how to bake an apple pie before, they know how to unscrew a doorknob or put a doorknob on. They push this culture. They push the emasculation of Black men, and a lot of men get, but in Black men, they push the emasculation of it. That's why, they don't mind, having sex with these guys and being, or they don't mind the ones they don't mind pitching. They don't mind being the pitcher. You got to think about the woman's mindset. The average woman mindset today, they want to be the pitchers. And I don't just mean that in the sense of the bedroom. They want to be the dominant thing. So you think that just start and stop in the household, like leading the household? That don't start and stop there. This is why Nicki Minaj has a inferior husband. This is why Rihanna has an inferior husband who's known allegedly to bat on both sides of the plate, but that's near here nor there. This is why. This is why when you look at a lot of the people that's married today, most women are not marrying alpha men. You know what I'm saying? Most women are not marrying the most masculine men out there. Just next time, go look. Every now and again, you will see a masculine dude. Like, I don't say every now and again. Mostly the older people, you see the husband used to be the guy. But when you start really just socially eyeballing and profiling, a lot of these women really didn't marry a masculine guy. They don't. They didn't marry the masculine guy. But when you get into those relationships where the woman is dominant, like Deion Sanders was with Shador and Shiloh mother, like you got to go watch how dominant that woman was. A lot of times, that's a reflection of what's going on in the bedroom too. I'll just leave it at that. A lot of times, that just lets you know how weak of a man you are to put up with a woman like that. So a lot of these women who dominate their husband like that and they run the household and that, man, a lot of times in that bedroom they dominate too. And I'm gonna tell you this: if a woman can dominate you in the bedroom, she don't respect you, bro. And she gonna go sleep with somebody that can dominate her in the bedroom. And that's exactly what it is. When you see these women withhold sex from these guys, that's how you know you're a beta. If a woman can tell you are on a consistent basis, other than a one off here and there, and they can withhold ass from you, bro, you're a beta, bro. You a beta. You a beta. Most of these girls that get out, they sleep at 3 in the morning to come sleep with a dude they want to be with. They call off work, all the types of shit. So a lot of this, the problems that you seeing, I won't say problems. I can't even say they problems because society doesn't see them as problems. Women, they can complain about it, but this is what they created. Shout out to my boy Benjamin Fold. Yeah, I'm gonna start them shows back up. I'm gonna hit you up on IG, bro, or text me. We're gonna start doing a show or two a week over there for sure. I've been slacking, but ain't really been shit to talk about. So, um, so yeah, that's really in the that's how they try to break you, bro. That's why I always tell y'all when sex can move you, they can control you. So you can't let and a lot of guys, don't let sex control them because they got a multitude of women. I mean, whatever floats your boat. Or they got options. Some guys just say, okay, I'll go pay it. Okay, I got a backup bit, whatever. But for the most part, for you to be like, you to like tell a chick no, that's an ego checker. There's a couple ego checkers, and I'm gonna get back to the dress, and I'm gonna address some comments. There's a couple ego checkers that kill women, and this is stuff that people don't talk about on the internet. I guarantee you, you ain't heard too many people talk about. There's two ego checkers that kill women, right? One I think people do talk about, but it's your ability to turn down a woman's advances. I'm not talking about like a woman you just met or like a woman that you with, you like, I'm tired today, or no, you know what I'm saying? They might try to give you something. You like, I ain't really tripping. We can just chill. Like that's an ego killer. That let her know because women put so much into their aesthetics and so much into their bodies. Like if you are not moved by her sexually, like really, she understands that's where most modern women believe that's they control. It's just sexually how they can control you, but the real true way a woman can control a man is really through her softness and her femininity. Only a select few women understand that. They're still around. Only a select few women don't understand like I really can control a man just by being nice and soft. Like women really think it's about the aesthetics, it's about the sex. But once you show them it's not about the sex, that's when you take the power away. You take the power away from them. And you want to know the other one that you probably ain't never heard? That kill. This is the number one ego killer of women. It's not, oh, you ugly, you fat, I ain't never loved you. The number one ego killer, and guys are gonna agree with me that been out there enough where this happened to them. When you have sex with a woman and you do not ejaculate, When you do not produce the white stuff that come out of your ping ping, that is the ultimate ego killer for women. That is the ultimate ego killer for women. Is when you have sex and they will rather you, women will rather you, and especially if they like you, women would rather you. I guarantee you, this go for trick, this go for hoes, this go for your side chick, this go for your casual chick, your main chick, your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, wherever you is on the spectrum, your one off. Women will rather women will rather you, you know, come faster than the flash than not come at all. If you don't come sleeping with a woman, it is dog. You have destroyed her ego. You have destroyed her ego. Whether it's the dome, whether it's the cat, whether if you like to play in the back alley, which is each his own, whether it's the triple play, whatever it may be. If you don't get to that boiling point, it's the ultimate ego killer for a woman. I'm telling you, it's the ultimate ego killer. They'll rather you, they'll still mess with you, if they'd rather you come fast than you not come at all. I'm telling you, bro. If you don't come, like like you ever work some hours, you be tired, you be like, man, just you ain't got the magic, but she be, did you come? You like, no, I ain't come. Like, what? They be so fucking sick. They be sick. They be sick. They be sick when you don't do it. That's the ultimate ego killer of women, bro. Her tone will be lower. She gonna be softer. You be like, she don't even like to ride, but like 2 minutes. Next time she gonna ride 22 hours if she have to. Like real talk. Real talk. That's an ego killer, bro. I'm telling you, dog. Like real talk. And it's sometimes like they so selfish. Let me say this real quick before I get back to the dress part. They so selfish that everything revolves around them. It's simply nothing can be wrong with you. It can't be like I'm tired. It can't be, we just did it like 3 times in a row and I ain't got none. It can't be that. It's literally always about them. Am I not pretty enough anymore? Do you not attracted to me anymore? Am I too dry? It's all they are so narcissistic. They are so narcissistic. They can't fathom that you tired. They can't fathom that you don't want none because you tired. Who you been sleeping with? Who you been cheating with? You've been working 70 hours a week. You can't. They really think like dudes are just gonna become Superman for Punani all the time. Sometimes you get tired. Sometimes it could be strictly mental fatigue. Sometimes it could be stress. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just don't have the energy to, you just chilling. Sometimes you just don't even be on that. But in their mind, oh, you fuck with somebody else, or you don't think it's always centered around them. Or you don't like my hair color, or you don't like the way of my lashes, or I'm just too dark for you. It's just like, you just be like, bitch, I'm tired. They're so narcissistic in their behaviors, bro. Like, once you really start looking at it, it's the truth. It's the truth. So you have to start like really paying attention to some of that stuff. Sometimes you just got shit on your mind. Real talk. Sometimes you just like, man, how I'm gonna figure this out, or how I'm gonna finesse this, or where I'm gonna invest this money. Sometimes you just be wanting to chill. you know. But back to the dress point, they're creating the men that they really wanna, they really wanna be with. So don't, when you hear women say, "Well, I didn't know he was DL and all," well, women know before men know. Like, I really do feel that way. Women know before men know. Some women be like, "Oh, I didn't know my gator didn't work." They know. They know. Like, if a dude put a dress on, or a dude, wearing a bonnet, or a dude got a certain switch or a certain sassiness to him, um, um, and motherfucker, whatever they doing now, It ain't just metrosexual. We had those guys back in the day, the metrosexual guys that really put a lot of work into their looks, and you had like the Puerto Ricans that got their eyebrows lined up, or the Rique Suave guys that and they could be any color that really put a lot of effort into their appearance. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't on no homosexual stuff. They just was like real self centered and in how they dressed in their appearance. You know what I'm saying? Type of niggas that keep the cologne in the back pocket and shit like that. You know, so yeah, we know how it is. But yeah, it's just getting to the point where is somebody calling me. It's just playing in my ear. This shit is irritating. They gonna keep saying redial and redial and redial. It was irritating. Oh my god. They keep saying redialing in my ear. It's so irritating. Um, but yeah, but it gets but looking at it, man, like it's the Boondocks predicted it. I mean, guys wearing pearls, bonnets, halter tops. They selling skirts now, wearing skirts now. And that's what the women like. They're not gonna admit that. They're not gonna admit it. That's just really what they like. Come on. And I had a discussion with the young guys that I was volunteering with, and I was like, it's a purse. No, hey, uncle, if you strap it across our chest, and a girl walked by with it strapped across her chest, I said, that's a purse, right? Oh, you right. Fanny pack. I think they really don't even understand how reading rainbow the culture is. They just think it's the culture. They think it's the culture. They just think, wearing the purse, wearing the fanny pack, wearing the bonnet, um, you know what I'm saying? Whatever else they doing, a bunch of remember they used to wear the multiple earrings in their ears when we was kids, the girls, or now they wearing multiple nose piercings and shit like that, and now they whole demeanor is zesty. Now the pants is tight. They wearing Balenciaga shoes, and the thing about Balenciaga shoes, they known for making dresses. They known for making dresses, and then the testosterone level of young men is so low that at this point, it ain't they not even men anymore. Then men are not being the hunters no more. They say like 30 to 50% of men have never approached a woman and asked her for a number. 30% of men, they said, have basically is virgins. The Washington Post said like 30% of men in the U.S., I believe it says, are virgins. What is it? 50% of black men from what is it, 18 to 35 or something like that, 20 to 35, they haven't even fathered a child yet. So we got 30% of men that's roughly virgins, according to Washington Post. Another round, I forget, either around 30 to 50% who never approached a woman in person or asked for a number, which don't really mean nothing because everything is done digitally. But let's just go with the 30% of guys that are virgins. That's 30% of the field that's, incels. I think that was 30 and under. From 30 to 18 as incel. They had no action. And they say 80% of women only attack or go for 20% of the guys. So 80% is a huge chunk of women. That's pretty much all of them. The anomaly is 20%. Or the difference is 20. So 80% of the women, those can be nerds, hoes, sluts, who selling it. Those can be good girls, hood rats. Like 80% is a broad number. Now, out of the 20% of men, you factor in most of those are high earners. Damn, is it raining that hard? Yup. You should have brought more of them shits in. But 20% of them, 10% of them are probably high earners. Right? And probably other 10% of them is somewhere on the attraction scale. So yeah. So just but and a lot of them have an affection for prison guys. And what's so funny is George Joe Brown had a video that Anton Daniels covered last year or 2 years ago, where he talked about these women who these guys in prison. These women will be waiting for them to get out, And some of these guys had that STI that sent you to the upper room. And these women, they had, it was granted early release, and he had to tell them that these guys had the shit that you can't get rid of that can send you to the upper room. And he didn't really go into the format of, I forget what he said, some women left, whatever, but a lot of these guys had, been getting their salad tossed, or tossing salad in the penitentiary. He talked about in New York, this is mid 80s, early 90s, this timeline he was speaking on. He said at one point in New York, I believe it was in New York, it might have been in Queens, I can't remember. And he said some guys basically kidnapped a guy, or I would consider it kidnap, and took him into the housing projects, and they tossed his salad. These pookies kidnapped a guy off the street, and they tossed his salad. And there's prison channels of guys that's been in prison that describe that. I mean, Benny Siegel has one of the viral clips on X for the last 5 years. He said, I've been in those famous jails where they knock you out and they, suck your stuff, they suck and they knock you out and they suck your stuff. So think about, just kind of think about, we start talking about the dresses that attracted the guys that wear dresses, that wear feminist stuff, that wear pearls, that wear, these niggas wearing high heels, bonnets, but also on the other side of the track, right? Think about their affection for Pookie and Ray Ray, for jailbirds. And we all know the jailbirds are damn near tier 1 of switch hitting. You would put them above switch hitting. You would put them above the true saucy Santana ninjas of the world. See, y'all don't really see, public don't really see them switch hitting like that. They just think they strictly with the guys, but they be, please believe me, he be hitting them chicks. When they get them, he's still a man. When they get that alcohol in their system, well, them women will hump anything. And obviously the numbers show that the women in the community, when they get drunk, they going. When they get drunk, they going with somebody. More now than ever. How do you think they get in these positions, where these compromising positions, where they get kidnapped? You think these guys are just scooping these women off the street? No, they meeting guys. They smoking with them. I remember this, bro. It was my birthday last year, right? So I went to the bar, chilling. So I seen like one of the homies from the gym and shit. So one bar, we go from one bar to the next. They were really next door to each other, right? So we go in there. I'm chopping up with this little fat chick. It ain't nothing. Her cousin, he like worked behind the bar. I'm just chilling for a minute. We chopping it up. And her cousin is hooking me up with drinks and shit. So I'm like, cool. So I'm about to slide out, get back to the crib. I see my man's in the gym. He try to hop on this chick. He like, woo, woo, woo. I'm looking from afar. And she basically like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, cuz 6'2", you know what I'm saying? Cool dude, whatever, right? And she like, nah. So, I'm about to slide out. So her and her friend, I swear to God, these niggas smoking like in the 1998, 2000 Explorer. So they smoking a blunt. Her and her friend smell the blunt, go over to this nigga. This nigga fat, about 5'9", if that. And they was like, yeah. He was like, oh yeah, we got more of this. So they hops in the truck with my man, smoking with him, hop in the truck, they pull off. And I'm guarantee you they ain't know him from nowhere, bro. They ain't know him from the back of a milk carton. They got, I'm telling y'all, that's how they be going, bro. So then there's some women that get there, they might feel uncomfortable, or they might smoke nigga shit. Hold on. Yeah, they might smoke a nigga shit or whatever, and they be thinking they about to leave. Like, okay, I'm about to smoke. No, you ain't gonna smoke and drink all our shit. You ain't busting it open. And most women understand that when they get in that car and they smoke that shit, they know they gotta bust it open or do something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling y'all how they be going, bro. That's how they be going. Why y'all gotta understand how nasty that is to have a rate around 50%. So out of 4 women that you meet, 1 in 4 women that you meet from the community, 2 of them got the shit you can't get rid of. 2 of them got it. So every two of them you meet, one of them got it. That's an insane number. And it's a growing number. It's an insane number. So every four you meet, two got it. Every one you two you meet, at least one got it. Don't let that fool you. So when you start talking about a lot of these stories about these women, they trauma and they took it from me. I remember this story, bro. We was in like, it was my last year in high school. So this lady daughter went missing in the neighborhood. I never forget it. This lady daughter goes missing, right? We like, she looking, have you seen my daughter? Like, I don't really know. I'm like, no, I don't know. At the time I didn't know. So whatever, they chilling on the block. I'm like, what up? I'm probably about to go to work or some shit. I'm like, what up? And they like, so they was like, yeah, we got woo 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 woo. She at the trap. And so her daughter was at the trap house and they just running her. They just running her in the trap. She probably smoking some weed, whatever. They probably feeding her McDonald's and they ran her. They ran her for about a month. She was hiding from my mom in the trap for about a month. Maybe a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. I guess eventually she probably went back home, but she was just in the trap and they were just running her. They were just running her. I guarantee the daddy was running her. The son was running her. His homies that was selling drugs was running her in and out. They was just running this girl. This girl was probably, I can't get a name of age on it, 16, 17, right around. I don't know. They was just running her. But what her story is probably gonna be. Oh, I had a lot of trauma. I didn't know they was taking advantage of me, and her mother is going around the neighborhood looking for her, and everybody in the neighborhood knows she in a trap getting ran. And eventually, she probably figured out what was going on, and she like, all right, that's what she want to do. That's what she want to do. So when you hear these stories about these women, oh, he locked me in the room, or they didn't, oh, he took it from me. I take it for a grain of salt. I take it for a grain of salt. I need to hear the story. Oh yeah, I met him at the. I'll tell you this perfect story. What's so funny is somebody was telling me the story. Dude met a chick at the liquor store. He paid for her liquor, or he bought a bottle of liquor, paid for her liquor. And he was like, "You want to go?" I think he might have paid for her liquor and bought a bottle, and said, "You want to come back to my house and drink it?" She was like, "Yeah." And she left with a guy that she didn't even know at the liquor store, bro. You know how many girls we used to meet at the club and they used to follow us back to the crib? 4, 5 of them. It's 4, 5 of us. You know what I'm saying? You know how easy they going, bro. That's why they tell you don't cuff party girls. It ain't that they like to party and you hear them like, yeah, I like party girls, and they get done partying and then they come to you like, bro, like that can be true, but a lot of them women when they get that alcohol in them and they going into the bathroom with a random dude and he follow them in the bathroom and I know another chick, we met them on some downtown shit. My man's ended up being like real serious with one of them. I ain't gonna say serious, but enough for us to like hang out with them, whatever, right? And so we would meet up with them. They used to do these races in Southwest Detroit and shit. That's like where y'all see BMF and shit at. Like, so we used to do these races and shit. And we pull up on them, and a friend in the back drunk. Like she drunk, she don't know where she at. We ain't on that type of time, whatever. We just saying what up, And they was like, yeah, she just got done doming the dude. I guess they was telling us so we wouldn't like talk to her or have sex with her. Well, we wasn't on no drunk shit. And basically what happened was, she met a guy at the gas station. She domed him up, got in his car, or he got in the back seat and domed her up. And all the friends was right there, and they allowed her to do it. She met a random dude, and by the time we pulled up, she was like mad drunk. She was the only one that was mad drunk. So they let her girl go in the back of a random truck, or he got in the truck. I don't know how it went. And she just domed him up. So when you start really talking about how free and loose most women is. That's why you don't deal with women that party like that, or they be in groups like that, because there's no accountability. It's, I got dirt on you, you got dirt on me. If one friend is cheating, two friends is cheating, the girl that you dealing with, she going. You dealing with party girls, just because they might get out the club and come straight to you, it don't mean that they ain't got tapped on the way out. Real talk. So when you hear these stories about these women that be saying, "Oh, I had this trauma when I was younger," it's bullshit. A lot of times, to me, is a lot of it is bullshit. Believe it or not, a lot of the traumas that they say they have is straight up malarkey, bro. It is straight up malarkey. Telling y'all, I know it's hard for a lot of y'all to believe that, but I've seen it with my own eyes. They're so and to be honest with you, you do have white women like that. You have some Asian women like I didn't met Asian chicks in the club and they loosey goose. You have it, but at the rate that black women are so reckless, like it's crazy. It's crazy at the rate that how reckless they really are. For that number supported, and what my eyes told me, which is only a visual test, what my eyes tell me, it's a very reckless thing that they're very reckless. And then on top of that, everybody's so loosely selling it. So, but yeah, that just let you know, man. They numbers are triple of Becky's, double of it's crazy, bro. But they put themselves in those positions, dog. That's why when you kind of hear guys say they can't get no booty or they can't get no women or nothing like that, it's flabbergasting because they going, they going, they going, bro. They going, they going, man. But yeah, right now, the best thing to do if you can find a good woman, man, it's pretty much be monogamous, man. Especially if you like black women, but regardless across the board, it's just reckless, man. Like they going to Dubai doing the most treacherous things, and now for the most part, who you feel bad for is the women that are nurses and flight attendants and female pilots and women that have those high risk jobs, educators. It's like guys not even talking or talking to them. There ain't a guy with options talking to those type of girls. None. No matter how bad they looking, really a guy of substance, they just gonna have fun with it and keep it moving. That's the sad for the really really good women that's in those professions. So many women in scrubs has gave them a bad name. So many CNAs, nurses, so many girls, flight attendant. It's just to the point like they just literally either gotta go without a relationship or they gotta just be on the blade. They just gotta be on that blade, just chilling. It's just I dealing with this, that, and the third. Because the trust branches has been broken with those so much, man. But and it's like I said, those are because the guys that they want, they don't have to pick of the litter. Real talk, they don't have to pick of the litter. A lot of guys are naive to these stories. When you hear these stories and men are dangerous, and I'm telling y'all, I urge y'all start asking questions. When women start saying, "Oh God, like what happened?" And when you start hearing how they think is, "Oh, it shouldn't be like a guy shouldn't take advantage of a drunk girl, or a guy shouldn't." But if you're gonna offer it, most guys are gonna take it. If you're gonna give a guy an advantage, you're gonna give your opponent an advantage. He gonna take it, bro. Every guy's not gonna be like that. If you drunk, a guy gonna do everything he want to do with you. Most guys, you show up to his place drunk, and most women gonna look at you like you pussy if you don't. It's a crazy world, bro. He said this dude is my city. Be trying to act like he's the fashion king. He rocking these schoolgirl looking shoes with the schoolgirl socks like Jermaine Dupri on the Super Bowl. And these dudes just think because it costs so much money to shine that they're sweet, dog. Remember I got into it with the dude that walked Tank to the ring. He had the little tube socks and the skirt on. Hey, bro, get out of here. Girl did the rose dirty. She did crazy work in the A. And it is. For you to wear a skirt in the A, and then the numbers in the A is crazy. Like they talking about dating in Atlanta. Like, bro, I don't want to touch nothing in Atlanta. I always been saying that, bro. I used to go down there all the time. He said we gonna see ninjas wearing footies with balls on the back of their. Oh, I remember the girls used to wear that shit. Remember that shit, John? Women, the girls back in the day used to wear that. They wearing tight leathers like Hellraiser. It's crazy, bro. They wearing Balenciaga shoes. Like I'm like, y'all know the history of Balenciaga, bro. They made bitch wear. Remember they was wearing Robin jeans and niggas asses was flashing. And remember the OG made the video. So that shit, I gotta find that video. The creators of the Boondocks had a lot of things accurate when it came to where the black community ended up becoming, and it did. Pearls, halter tops, skirts, homosexual rappers. Remember that dude I Love Making came out. I'm going up on a Tuesday. They got him the fuck up out of rap quick when he came out. They got him out of rap quick, bruh. Like, like if he would have waited like 5 or 7 years, dude, been the king of rap. He said fatherless homes being Mookie is a trend, and it is, and women like it. Things that's become trendy in the black community is only like fashion and shit like this wise, is because that's what women like. He said it's called straight shame, and they are. You got guys that straight shame. You got men that straight shame. That's a fact. You got men that straight shame. I'm an old head. I see this new generation is gay is in the form of these young ninjas. He said 704. So he said, yeah, that's facts. That's crazy. It's true. They effing, they want to control. And see how my humble going to be. He said you were right and they tried me and went to cheating because I stood my square. I'm telling you, man. That's another thing. When you stand your ground on a woman, you know what I'm saying? And she go do something else, cool. You tell her no, and she will go run with somebody else, or she start moving funny. You know that something. Hey, just keep it moving, bro. She ain't like you enough to begin with, because a woman who really like you and you stand on something that you believe in, she is. If a woman are arguing with you and for no reason, let her go. I had to learn that. Let her go. I ain't going back and forth. Okay, see you later. They want to leave. They want to leave. You gotta watch that shit. They want to argue like everything was just going well, and they just want to start arguing. Shit, you perplexing me. It's just amazing. He said, "I really practice semen retention, bro. Shit, that's not normal." Yeah. He said you can't be muscling quick all the time. Yeah, it's true. He said, walk softly in my sanctuary. He said, sometimes I just want to chill and watch a movie. That's facts. They think we so sexually driven because they so sexually driven. Why the more busy you get with life, they more women want to jump in your life because it's a test. Women pose to test you to see if they can knock you off your schedule, knock you off your square. Can they knock you off your regiment? Is the women are a test. Women are a test, and that's a great thing when you busy and you fit them in when you can fit them in. That's gonna keep them more interested. If they always got access to you, they ain't gonna really want you. He said Benjamin Foe is even worse when you want to settle down. All of a sudden, the flood. Exactly. When you get one, it's easy to get two. When you get two, it's easy to get three. When it's three, it's easy to get four. The only difference is when you got time, it's hard to allocate that time because usually most of your open time is on the weekend. And a lot of y'all brothers, especially with the pinnacle of sports coming, you want to watch football and you want to bust a nut and send them on their way, but they don't like going home. Women get disgusted when you put them out. You know what I'm saying? Or you go to their house, you want to leave. So in the pinnacle of sports season, this is why they call it cuffing season. Everybody look at it for women cuffing season because it's a lot of stuff come up in the fall. You got the Christmas and you got to bring a man home to family. But for guys too, cover season is important because if you in the football, you got kids, you got homecoming, you going to the pumpkin patches. I mean, you doing a bunch of stuff. Football, basketball coming back on. You got to stack up for Christmas, Thanksgiving. So for most guys too, it's more convenient just to have one woman because you really don't have the time. You don't like that. But, like I said, the rotation has to be made up of a diverse group of women. You can't have all young girls. You can't have all old chicks. You can't have just single mothers or just, it's just a diverse group of women. Sometimes you might have a single mother that, might be just, she come over and she bust it down and go right back home. That's why you like her. You know what I'm saying? She understand her position. You might have a chick that might be a professional chick. She might only have a Saturday available or Sundays available. You know what I'm saying? If you got a third, you might have one that you might like think about taking serious. It is what it is. ATL dudes be like, Do the J's match my skirt, which is nasty work. It's a Democratic policy, and it is. That's why they so open about baby deletions. They ran a whole campaign on deleting babies. They back to baggy ass clothes, but the baggy clothes that they wearing look like the homeless shit Kanye was making. Dudes who wear dresses, I do this for the culture, but they hate on. He said black women realize the grift is over. Trump is gonna try to hold black women accountable, and yeah, Becky too. That's a fact. Becky too. DEI. Becky is more favored than DEI, and Becky is more favored when it comes to Section 8 and welfare. So a lot of them Beckys was finessing their husbands too. Believe it or not, a lot of Beckys was leaving Brad high and dry. Cleaning up the crime in our community. That started with snitching. That started with people actually reporting crime and not protecting criminals. And deport these tailors and immigrants out of our country. Farming your own food teaches discipline and masculinity. Yeah, but you got to have the space to do it. So you can start off with potatoes and a small little garden. That is true. I work next to Arizona State University. All I gotta say is, goddamn it. He said the trap girl, somebody wife now, and that's the crazy thing. And they have these traumas that when they go through shit like that, when they have traumas that you think like it's something that you not doing. A lot of these women have trauma. That's why you don't deal with older women like that. You just keep them in a rotation. A lot of these women have trauma, bro. A lot of these women is traumatized. Bro, not gonna lie, I had a chick in the spot like for 2 weeks. I refused to touch that thing. Yeah, I mean that's what they do. Man, the weed, they used to mess with the weed, man. Like if you have problems getting booty, be the weed man. Bud vs. Canelo had me in. He said, "What do you say to those people that say you bug me?" I don't really care about when people say shit. Who cares? People hate to hear the truth. But let me get out of here, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace.